Didn't happen.
Trying to split the defense. Alba stepping up. Here's Iniesta again. The fact, at his age now, 31, and Atletico on the horizon, probably not a 90-minute stretch for Iniesta, but it is a deep bench for Barcelona. Wasn't always that way this year. Again, now 31 with the whistle.
It's a tight ball in from Messi, but he knows it's Sergio Busquets, arguably the best one-touch player in all of Barcelona, including the number 10. That was pacing a little bit, but again, risk and reward, as it always is with Barcelona.
Okay. Stellar season for Mr. Shakira this year. And he was a bit off the boil last year. Messi with the steps forward. Another stellar season for Mr. Shakira this year. And he was a bit off the boil last year. Messi with the steps forward. Another stellar season for Mr. Shakira this year. He was a bit off the boil last year. Messi with the step. Okay. Another stellar season for Mr. Shakira this year. He was a bit off the boil last year. Messi. Okay. Another stellar season for Mr. Shakira this year. He was a bit off the boil last year. Okay. Another stellar season for Mr. Shakira this year. He was a bit off the boil last year. Okay. Another stellar season for Mr. Shakira this year. He was a bit off the boil last year. Okay. Another stellar season for Mr. Shakira this year. He was a bit off the boil last year. Okay. Another stellar season for Mr. Shakira this year. He was a bit off the boil last year. Okay. Another stellar season for Mr. Shakira this year. He was a bit off the boil last year. Okay. Another stellar season for Mr. Shakira this year. He was a bit off the on the horizon, probably another stellar season for Mr. Shakira this year. He was a bit off the boil last year. Messi with the okay. Another stellar season for Mr. Shakira this year. He was a bit off the boil last year. Messi with the okay. Another stellar season for Mr. Shakira this year. He was a bit off the boil last year. Okay. Another stellar season for Mr. Shakira this year. He was a bit off the boil last year. Okay. Another stellar season for Mr. Shakira this year. He was a bit off the boil last year. Okay. Another stellar season for Mr. Shakira this year. Sideline. Kevin Egan is there at the Camp Nou, brought to you by AT&T.
Very much hashtag El Clasico throughout the match. This segment is presented by AT&T, mobilizing your world. And let me just say that was one of the most emotional things I've ever seen inside a sporting stadium. Every single person inside Camp Nou on their feet holding the banner. We see the huge sign saying Gracias Johan. We saw the Catalan flag, the Barcelona flag, and the Barcelona jersey with number 14. What a beautiful tribute to the great Johan Cruyff.
As you see, sideline, Kevin Egan is there at the Camp Nou, brought to you by AT&T. Away for Luis Suarez, but that was at risk.
Hashtag El Clasico throughout the match.
And available here today. Similar story for Casemiro in the Real Madrid starting lineup. Of course, the starting lineup's brought to you by Soccer.com. Take a look at the table right now, and it is Barcelona 76 points, Atletico a win in pocket at 70, Real Madrid at 66. Now again, on paper it seems even with the defeat here today, Barcelona should be able to coast home, but stranger things have happened. They can pretty much slam shut any possibility for an Atleti or Real Madrid comeback here today. But they have to get it done first, and for Real Madrid, as we head into this moment of silence, perhaps a launching pad to glory to come. In a moment of silence for Johan Cruyff, both as a playing legend and a coaching one for Barcelona. Silence, perhaps.
Cristiano Ronaldo's face as he shook his head at some of the disruptors, and it's surprising from a section of the fans. It seemed to be directed from Real Madrid fans, but it doesn't matter. They were drowned out by the predecessing wonderful tribute. And now let's get ready to rock and roll. These two footballing teams exemplifying the spirit of the football that Cruyff displayed in different ways perhaps, but world-class footballers again.
We are underway. Barcelona in their familiar Blaugrana and the all-white of Real Madrid defending the goal towards the right. Phil Shane alongside Ray Hudson, and glad you could join us. It is El Clasico. There is history to be made or added to. 172nd league match between these two, and Ray 231st. 92 wins for Real Madrid, 90 for Barcelona. It is hard to separate these two in a rivalry that dates back to the turn of the last century. Wide on the far side, Neymar checking back.
Well, for the present, Phil, wonderful look back in time. Let's think about this game that we've got on, a game of football. Nothing more, nothing less in a lot of people's eyes, but for anybody that knows Spanish football and great world rivalries, this is the pinnacle, the zenith point of two historical, socio-economic clashes. But we'll see how it turns out. Real Madrid come in, probably their best run of form. He's in, he's off.
Whistle, though, will stop them. Take a look at our starting lineups. Again, brought to you by Soccer.com. It is MSN up front. Busquets is down in pain, and he's not the only one.
There's a free ball that Pepe reaches in here. right there. The ball's clipped clear. Don't look as if there's too much there. I would imagine that they'll be okay. There's a little bit of a step. It misses the ball and catches Sergi on the calf, and then he goes a tumble. I think they'll both be okay. As I said, Pepe's men come in arguably on the best uptick of form under Zidane, Phil. The last 4 games they have looked as if they're getting their whole ship tightened up and together. A little bit of a calf pull maybe. Certainly took the cleats, but served Sergi Busquets, and he looks as if he's fine now.
And for Marcelo, both of these teams going with their star lineups. A star turn for Rakitic, in for Messi. Deflected by Modric, back to Navas. Some of the Barca fans wanting a back pass. It was a good defensive
good cover
off
from Modric here. Seeing that Messi had identified Neymar, who had peeled away on that far side from Carvajal. Great effort, but good cover from Luka. They'll need that sort of cover all game long.
Looking for Benzema.
And as much as anything, they'll need the vaunted BBC to be on the same page in a big way. We all know that MSN at the other side for Barcelona have been in operatic high note form.
Offside again, the flag.
Teasing that man with the offside flag. Very close when the ball's played in live time. Let's take a look. Whoa, it's a bad call, Phil. Look at Marcelo on this side. He's keeping him at least a yard on when the ball is touched.
Even Sergio Ramos in the middle seems to be on the wrong side of Suarez. And for Toni Kroos, starting lineup questions, Ray. Oh, maybe not that many as we see an offside flag against Bale on the far flank. Not that many for Barcelona, other than perhaps the insertion of Andres Iniesta with a huge match against Atletico on the horizon. But for Real Madrid, so many wondering whether Zinedine Zidane would put in Casemiro at the expense of James. He has. How does that change Real Madrid?
Well, it gives them the balance that everybody's been talking about leading up. It's taken them a while to wake up the fact that if they want to start playing with BBC and they're the untouchables, you're going to need a stay-at-home central defender. They've got it in Casemiro. He's going to have one of the best games of his life here today and be like the little Dutch boy covering all the holes in the dike everywhere, because you know that this midfield of Barcelona will be in support. Their midfield have got it beautifully choreographed. Rakitic, Busquets and Iniesta both defending their back line and supporting MSN. So we'll see.
Casemiro with a little push in the back. Thought he would get away with it, but no. Alejandro Hernandez, the man in the middle with the whistle. Teodoro Sobrino, Jose Naranja down the flanks, and Alexander Alemán, the fourth official.
That's just the type of challenge that Real Madrid do not want. Casemiro a little bit too anxious, a little bit too wound up, diving into a ball he had no chance of getting. It's one thing being aggressive, but he better pick and choose when he launches in against these super sharp Barcelona players in front of him.
Victor Poison. Messi will drag defense with him, trying to get it back. Deflected by Benzema, or it could have been dangerous.
Good cover by Benzema. Nice rehearsed play that. They go away from the grain, as is the situation with Barcelona all the time. Ignoring the ball into the box, playing it back for Mascherano, of all people, for a killer pass that was well covered by Benzema.
Neymar now on the right wing. Messi using him. And Suarez has gone out wide left. Here's Rakitic.
Now 6 minutes in, Phil. It's been all Barcelona. It could be a bit of rope-a-dope by the Royal Whites. They've got their own lethal counter-attack.
Sweet touch from Dani Alves, deflecting off the head of Messi, just missing the mark. Alves and Alba down the flanks, Piqué and Mascherano in the middle. Of course, Mathieu out now with that meniscus injury, and it's going to keep him sidelined for maybe a month and a half.
Zidane, of course, has the benefit of a fully rested and fit Benzema and Gareth Bale. Not quite the same for Barcelona's front three after all the extra air miles that they covered in the South American World Cup qualifiers. How much of a difference will that make? They all look sharper than a pin here. Nice play.
Ronaldo twirled to the ground, seemed to get tangled with Alves. The fans don't agree, but the referee a lot closer.
Yeah, it's a good call by the referee. And Danny coming through, clipping the ankles of the Dark Invader.
39 straight matches without defeat for Barcelona. That's also on the docket, a date in the history books. Bale offside again.
And they're really playing these lanes very tight. All of the forwards for both teams sitting on the shoulder and gambling. Take a look again. This again looks a very, very close call, Phil. When the ball is hit, there again, that for me is still, it's down to dark matter. You need a microscope to find out the difference in a few of these offside calls. So who's going to be the first to blink? Love the way the forwards are holding the run, because they know they've got the players with that wonderful mutant fly's eye vision in the midfield to find them over the top. Look out.
Busquets, a soft touch wide. Run it in for Suarez. Now comes Navas to make the stop.
Again, the elusive run, dictating the pass beautifully. Nobody picking him up. Nice ball played in over that distance again. Jordi Alba.
Marcelo, pressured by Rakitic, sneaks it inside nicely. Casemiro pirouettes away, seemed to get tangled and just draw the foul.
It was a pull on him as he spun around there.
You can tell who's touching it by the fans' reaction.
It's well played by Cristiano.
Cristiano down the line, draws two, cuts inside Alves, in comes Piqué, down goes Cristiano, with a goal kick.
His initial turn was absolutely brilliant.
And to ride the challenge of Ramos, it's 2v1. Neymar squares, Suarez missed it.
Unbelievable! This is astonishing miss, and it's brilliant from Neymar.
A yellow against Ramos, who's arguing against the earlier foul.
Is calling it for the earlier one, as you say, Phil, but the breakaway sets the table for probably the worst finish you'll see in a long, long time. Ball played up right here, and you'll see the contact. Suarez comes in to the ball. There's nothing there. Absolutely nothing. Neymar sees the square man running, and then all of a sudden Suarez's feet turn into squid. That is amazing. Again, wonderful turn. It's Sergio Ramos as much as anything that's doing the...
Champions are ready to go. It's Manchester United against Wigan, live from the Barclays Premier League. Our match commentators at Old Trafford, David Platt and Alan Parry.
Thanks again, Richard. A surprise call-up today for United youngster Gerard Piqué, the Spanish defender who was on loan at Real Zaragoza for the whole of last season. And there's a debut on the opposite side for Salomon Olembe, an experienced Cameroon international who Wigan snapped up after being released by Marseille.
Number 18, Paul Schorner. Number 19, Titus Bramble. Number 20,
Wayne Rooney celebrating his first Manchester United goal of the season, the winner here against Roma. Remember, he got a career best 23 goals last season. And he's got a very good scoring record, by the way, against Wigan, which their fans will not need reminding of. Chris Hutchings will also not need reminding that the only previous occasion he managed a team here at Old Trafford was in his brief spell in charge of Bradford a few years ago, and they lost that day 6-0. time he played twice against Manchester United. No fewer than 6 of United's 7 victories this season have been by that now familiar 1-0 scoreline. But if they win by the same margin today, it'll be enough to see them go top of the Premier League since they won the title at the end of last season, in fact. Wigan in the bottom half of the table. Games played, 8 points, 8 goals scored, 8 conceded. David, what kind of game are you expecting?
Well, to be honest with you, Wigan preparing all week on this 4-5-1, respecting Manchester United. That's what Chris Hutchins was talking about. You might go into it and think that they're not in good scoring form, Manchester United, but you must be frightened. When you look at their side, you must be frightened how much is going to come forward at you.
The only games that United have lost so far in the Premier League against Manchester City and in the Carling Cup here against Coventry on a night when they fielded an understrength side. There's Ronaldo, who had a few stitches in a head wound from that match in the Champions League in midweek. Vidic to Evra, who's played every league game for United this in that left-back position. Rio Ferdinand. Tevez showing for it early, and Rooney over the top is offside. Delivers, but straight out of play at the other end. Disappointing free kick from the Wigan Athletic goalkeeper. Wearing a cap, as you can see. It's not often you get a problem with the sunshine in Manchester in October.
In June. Oh,
you said it.
Problem.
Vidic with a sweeping ball out to the left, beautifully taken in his stride by Evra. Good challenge by Melchiot.
It's an interesting start by Manchester United straight away. Not frightened to go long into Wigan, try and stretch them, create the space. Then once they can, stretch them off and make them defend that little bit deeper, they can start to utilise the holes that appear and play the short passing game that they come synonymous with.
Here's Olembe getting his first touch. He's a left back, really. He has played a few games in his career in midfield, but he's mainly been in the back four. Melchiot back to Boyce. And another early touch for Kirkland. Flicked on to Bent, who collides with Vidic. O'Shea there to clean up the danger, but Mike Riley, the referee, has blown the whistle, seeing a head injury.
It's just a coming together of heads here. Bent gets across him. Yeah, you can see there's nothing in it. Vidic caught the back of Bent's head, I think.